Hey, what's up, homies? Welcome back to the Homeys Real Estate Podcast. This is your host, Anthony.
I'm Angel.
I'm a realtor.
I'm a lender.
And hopefully together we can give you a pretty good idea of what's happening in today's real estate market. We got a good one for you. We're going over the numbers for the LA County real estate market. It's the beginning of the month. That means the numbers for March, they just dropped. We've got some good info for both buyers and sellers, and we'll touch them in this podcast here. So first, let's just go over the median sales price. I'm going to go speed rounds, read these numbers quickly for you, and then from there, we'll kind of elaborate on every number we've gone over. So median sales price, it increased about $20,000 since last month. It's now $770,000 for Los Angeles County. This is all property type: single family, condominium, townhouse, manufactured, and mobile homes. Now, when we look at active listings, it increased, right? About 1,000 new listings since last month, but we're still down about 27%. So just 1 year ago, we had about 4,000 more listings. When we look at new listings, it increased. We have about 8,340 new listings this month. That's up 36.7% in comparison to last March. So that's really, really good news for buyers. When we look at median days on market, the median days on market now from the time a home hits the market to escrow is the lowest it's ever been. It's only 10 days for Los Angeles County. That's why it's really important you stay on top of your home search and that you're pre-qualified so that you can put in a strong offer. When we look at inventory months supply, it increased. So February of 2021, it was at 1.9 months. What this means is in 1.9 months, if no more homes were listed, that's how long it would take for these homes to be sold. It did increase in March to 2.1 months. So now it takes about 2.1 months for all the homes to be sold if no more homes were to be listed. That's good. The higher the inventory month supply, the more options there is for buyers, right? And then lastly, we're looking at closed volume. Boy, is Los Angeles real estate on fire. We had the highest closed volume we ever had, and it's just March. Traditionally, the late spring, early summer is when we have the highest closed volume. So we're on track to hit new records for closed volume. So closed volume, it increased from 9.9 billion in February to 14.5 billion in March, the highest ever. So with that said, Angel, let's go over median sales price. What captures your attention there?
I believe, to me, just the year-over-year numbers, it's gone up 16.7% since last year. So again, just thinking about it from an FHA standpoint, if you put 3.5% down, within 1 year from you purchasing your home, you have 20% equity. That's absolutely insane. So I think, for anybody, again, that's thinking of purchasing a home, right now is the time. Right now is the time with equity and the way homes are appreciating. In no time, you're going to have 20% equity. You can get rid of your mortgage insurance. And it's a really good time right now to purchase a home for sure, considering how much homes are appreciating right now. It's absolutely insane.
Absolutely insane, right? March of 2020, we're talking 660 median sales price. Now 770. That's $110,000 in a year. That's more than a lot of people make in just 1 year, right? So that's the benefit of purchasing a property, right? You get the leverage of a whole entire property, and you don't need to purchase it outright. You just need to put 3.5% down, 5% down, and you get that whole entire leverage. Next thing, let's look at inventory month supply. So, active listings. So when we look at active listings, it increased, your Angel, but we are down 27%. What captures your attention here?
I mean, again, inventory is down, and that's also a reason for why the home prices and appreciation continue to go up, right? Low inventory equals a lot of buyers bidding on the same homes, which in turn makes home prices increase. But I think as we continue to hit summer, like Anthony said, those are the hot days on the market, where everybody wants to sell their home. summertime. People try to move their kids during summertime so they don't move them during the middle of the year, and so forth. We should expect these numbers to continue to increase. But also with these numbers increasing, don't think because we have more homes for sale that home prices are going to drop. I don't foresee that by any means happening.
Yeah, I agree with Angel. Right now, active listings is historically really, really low. This is a good thing for sellers right now because your home is not only selling for the most it's ever sold before, right? As we saw that in median sales price, but it's also selling as quick as it's ever sold. So when we look at median days on market, that decreased to lowest ever at 10 days. So it just takes 10 days, pretty much 1 week for your home to be sold. And the two things that most sellers care about is how fast can I sell my home and how much can I sell my home for. So it's really the perfect formula for sellers. But at the same time, it's a good time for buyers as well, right? Because as we mentioned earlier, the appreciation rate this last year and a half has been insane, right? People are removing PMI, removing mortgage insurance within 2 years, sometimes within a year, just because of how fast homes are appreciating. So with that said, Angel, what catches your attention here about the 10 days on market?
Extremely low, like you said, a week. Um, it goes back to Anthony. I know you mentioned a little earlier, being pre-qualified, being ready, constantly on the search for a home, and being patient. I think that's a big one right now. A lot of buyers, I've had buyers, I'll be honest with you, out there for 3-4 months looking every weekend for a home, and it is a little hard to get in right now. But if you do get in, you get to reap the benefits of the good interest rates right now. Also, along with gaining equity on your property at a substantially quick rate. Yeah, so it's extremely competitive. Be ready and be willing to make strong offers as well. Unfortunately, there's that saying, scared money don't make money. Right now, you gotta be able to, you gotta be willing to come over asking price. You gotta be willing to lower your contingency periods, if you really want to put a strong and serious offer in.
Absolutely. Angel, you nailed it right on the dot right there. So let's go ahead and jump into new listings. So this is where it starts to get interesting for you buyers, right? So new listings, it increased, right? We're at 8,340. This is pretty much where we typically peak for most years, right? But we peak in May and June for the active listings, whereas we've already hit like those numbers in March. So that means that if we continue on this trend, April and May, we should set new records for new listings. So that's a really good sign for buyers. That means that there's going to be more options for you and hopefully less potential to be in a bidding war and have to pay an abnormously high price, right? Because as Angel mentioned, and as most realtors have experienced, and most buyers that have been looking, homes are selling over asking price, right? If they're priced correctly. Sometimes $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over asking price. The good thing is that some of these properties are actually appraising for those values, and some of them are catching up to those values within a month or two just because of the way the real estate market is, right? If we look at the median sales price of homes in just the last year, right, in January 2021, just 2 months ago, we're talking $721,500. So we're talking about a $50,000 increase in just 2 months, right? So that's really good news for buyers, is that we have more listings. It's up 36.7% from a year ago. So we're talking 8,340, whereas last March we were talking about 6,099. Angel, I want to jump straight into inventory month supply. So this is one of the indicators here that tells you whether the market is a buyer's market or a seller's market. It's probably one of the most important indicators. So right now, it takes about 2.1 months for a home, or I guess it'll take 2.1 months for all the homes on the market to be sold if no more homes were listed. In a balanced market, we're talking about 6, maybe 7, right? And in a buyer's market, we're talking 7 plus. So as you can see, we're in a pretty serious seller's market. Sellers have a lot of leverage right now. They can pretty much ask for any contingencies to be lowered. They can ask for a much higher price. They can they can sell their property as is. They can forego termite clearance just because they have so much leverage right now. And that's something as a buyer you need to be aware of. But considering the state of the real estate market and that it's appreciating really well, it might make sense. You know what? Yeah, I'm willing to take the property as is because I know that in a couple months my property is going to be worth this much more, right? So, Angel, what catches your attention about this inventory month supply?
It doesn't surprise me by any means how low it is. Good thing is that it's trending up, which makes sense. Again, we're gonna see more homes on the market as we continue to approach the summertime. And it kind of just goes back to everything we've already said right now. Great time for sellers if they want to sell. Low inventory means you're gonna get top dollar for your property, and then buyers just be ready. Be focused in and continue to search and make offers to try to get something in because the low inventory again it's going to be extremely hard.
Exactly. So, last thing that we want to touch on is close volume. This is ridiculous. $14.5 billion. And it's just March. We traditionally, as I mentioned before, have our highest close volume late spring, early summer. So I'm surprised. I'm excited to see what the numbers are going to be for the rest of the year. We're probably going to blow past any records for close volume for the whole entire year. Again, what ties into close volume is going to be the sales price, right? Because we've had a higher sales price than we've ever had before, then that obviously makes it a lot easier to get to a higher close volume. So, Angel, what catches your attention about this $14.5 billion close volume number?
It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. 14.5 barely in April. I think what's also crazy is just the 1 month jump. It was like 5 million and one or 5 billion, excuse me, in just 1 month. So that's crazy. Again, what Anthony said, I can't imagine what summer's going to be looking like. But yeah, and it's 65.2% growth year over year. That number may be a little skewed right now because last March during this time, that's when COVID hit. So, homes weren't as selling as quick and people were a little scared to make offers at that time just because that's when COVID first started. But still, it's absolutely insane growth. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. So, with that said, Angel, let's try to make some predictions for the rest of the year and offer some advice. But before we do that, Angel, what are the interest rates looking like for buyers right now?
Great question. So the rates have definitely have gone up. Nothing, kind of they seem higher just because of how low they were before. But right now FHA is still really good, in the higher twos. So you can still get a really good FHA rate. Conventional, it all depends. It's the conventional, as I mentioned before on the podcast, is depending more on your FICO score, your down payment, all those things. But you can look in the low to mid threes right now with conventional loans. So it's definitely still really, really good time as far as interest rates. I think a lot of people have it confused because of how much they've gone up compared to where we were probably about 2 months ago. But still a great time to buy.
Absolutely. So, Angel, let's give your projection. What do you think this real estate market is going to look like in April and moving forward for the rest of the year?
I don't see it slowing down at all. I think it's going to continue to everything's going to continue to go up. Appreciation, home values. I think it's going to stay low as far as market days. I don't know if it'll be as low as 10, but I would assume for the rest of the year it's going to be 15 days or less. That's what I would make my guess. Sellers, great time for you guys, especially the ones that are looking to buy out of state, taking that equity. You can pay your whole house cash right now with probably how much equity you guys have. I just think for buyers, be ready, be patient, continue to make offers. And it's definitely a great time, especially with the interest rates. Don't miss out on that. Rates they're going to be low. They should be low for the next couple of years, but as far as low as right now, you want to take advantage of it as where you can.
Gotcha. So my projection for the rest of the year is that I'm on par with Angel. We're going to have probably the most explosive year in real estate we've had in a very long time. We have right now about half the inventory we had just 5 years ago. And yet 5 years ago, we had still, 7-8% appreciation. So we have half the inventory we had then, right? we have more buyers now, then why shouldn't we expect to have at the very least the same amount of appreciation, right? 8%. But that's why we're looking at 16.7% right now year over year. Um, April and May is really when there was that small window for buyers last year where there was that slow market downturn. So those numbers are going to be a little bit skewed. March was actually the last real month that had comparable year over year numbers. So March and this upcoming April and May, those numbers did dip the median sales price. So like this 16.7% year over year is going to be closer to like 20 something percent, maybe even 30% next month and for May. But all in all, I think that this median sales price from 770 that we're looking at right now, it's probably going to be closer to 785 to 790. I wouldn't be surprised if it hits 800,000, but just because we, you know, the last 2 months, right, it increased 50,000 and we're heading into the hottest months of the year.
Yeah.
So
I think it'll hit 800K by the end.
you think it'll hit,
April.
so in 1 month, you think it'll increase 30,000?
Be I think anywhere between 790 to 800, just the way the market's going right now. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sure. That's my guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
An educated guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So all in all, I guess we're predicting that home prices are going to continue to trend upward, right? The inventory isn't there, right? We don't have as much as we need in order to slow down the median sales price. We also have historically low interest rates, and we have a culture where everyone's starting to transition to buying a home, right, rather than living in condos and stuff, just because they need the additional space for an office or whatever it would be, right? Because people are spending too much time at home. They just need the space already. It is time to finally make that move. So yes, I think we're going to continue to trend upwards. Angel, any more projections for the rest of the year? What do you think inventory is going to look like? What do you think?
I think I still think inventory is going to be fairly low this year. That's just my opinion. So that's also going to contribute to the appreciation and the market continuing for the buyers be competitive. But all in all, as we approach summer, just continue to get more homes on the market for buyers and stuff. So I think hopefully maybe gets a little bit less competitive. At least on my end, working with buyers, I've been getting more offers accepted lately. So hopefully that's a good sign. I mean, I was having a while where I had so many pre-qualified buyers and no escrows for them, or very few of them. Now they're finally starting to hit. So hopefully that's a good sign hopefully it's like that for more people as well, not just myself. So I think it may be a little bit less competitive, but overall still very competitive.
Yeah, I agree with Angel. So the good news is that the amount of new listings is up significantly, but we are still about 27% less listings than we had a year ago. And throughout the last year or so, we've had about 20% less listings, right, compared to a year prior. So we've already been in this hole for a long time. That's why it's been so tough for buyers to find their home. That's why homes been selling for so much more. I don't think we're going to be able to dig ourselves out of that hole by the end of this year. I think we're still going to be somewhere between 10 to 25% year over year less listings or less active inventory. But nonetheless, we are going to, I think, start to trend back towards normal levels of listings for us. As I mentioned before, the number of active listings right now is about 50% less than what we had just 5 years ago. So in March 2021, we're talking 11,179 active listings. In March of 2016, we're talking about 18,529 active listings, right? So that's a lot less. I think that we're going to slowly start to trend back to at least 15,000 active listings, but it is going to take some time because we dug ourselves in such a hole. I guess all in all, Angel, let's just wrap this up. If you had one message for both sellers and buyers, what would it be?
Sellers, especially you out-of-state ones that are thinking of moving out of state, I think right now is a great time to take advantage of California's equity, Southern California's equity. I would definitely recommend making that move and selling your home. And then also for the sellers who maybe want to upgrade to a bigger and better home, right now is a good time to take that equity over, put a large down payment, and your payment might actually decrease. So, there's a good chance. You have to run the numbers, of course, but it's a really good time for that as well. Buyers, same message I say always, just be ready, get your pre-approval letter from your lender, and just continue to be on the search and be patient.
Be patient. That's the key word there. Don't get frustrated. It takes time. But you do your due diligence, you take your time, the right home will come, and then once you get into your home, you start to reap those benefits of appreciation, and you'll be very, very surprised. I have a lot of my clients, and I'm sure Angel has the same thing, where they contact them, like 2-3 months after they purchase their home, like, dude, I purchased my home at the perfect time. And I'm like, no, you didn't. You just purchased your home recently. It's just that you made that move, and the real estate market is alive and well right now. So now you have a bunch of appreciation, a bunch of equity. So I want everyone to have that feeling, right? It's a tremendous feeling. With that said, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you, homies, for joining us. This is Anthony.
I'm Angel.
And I want to wish you all the best. Take care.
Thank you.
Hey homies, it's Anthony. This podcast contains my opinions and is for educational purposes only. It does not guarantee any projections and should not serve as a basis for any purchase or sale in real estate.